Imagine you grew up in a home where your parents constantly argued and you told yourself, when I grow up, I'll never yell at my partner. Yet here you are in a heated argument, and before you know it, your voice is raised, your fists are clenched, and you hear words spill out that sound just as your mom and dad. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Inside Wumi. I'm your host, Wumi, and today's topic borders on generational trauma. The title of the topic is Not All Inheritance Come as a Will. Some come in form of trauma. Or maybe you grew up watching one parent work themselves to the bone while the other parent criticized every little effort. And you said to yourself, I would never tolerate such dynamic in my relationship. But now, you find yourself making excuses for a partner who doesn't appreciate your efforts. It's a different story, but the same feeling, repeating cycles you saw to break. Why does this happen? How do we end up walking paths that we vowed to avoid? And most importantly, how do we break free? So we're going to start by exploring how these patterns are passed down. So this invisible inheritance, the generational trauma, does not look like a package handed down to you with a little note saying, here's your family baggage. It sneaks into your life through behaviors, through beliefs and survival mechanisms that you did not even know you were absorbing. As kids, we learn by watching, we model behavior. So if your parent avoided conflict by bottling everything up, you might grow up avoiding confrontations. If your dad reacted to stress with anger, you might grow up thinking that is the only way to release frustration. These patterns are also passed down through the beliefs that we absorb. You are told that money doesn't come easy, or men would always cheat, or even strong women have to sacrifice. These aren't just words. They become your life's operating system. And as we all know, whatever that is familiar feels safe, even when it is harmful. If chaos was the norm in your childhood, peace might feel uncomfortable. If love was conditional or earned in your childhood, unconditional care might make you suspicious. Now it's time to self-reflect. Let me ask you some questions, and please be honest with yourself as you listen. Do you find yourself reacting to stress in ways that remind you of one of your parents? That's number one question. Number two question, are your relationships mirroring the same struggles you saw growing up? Question three, do you carry beliefs about yourself? Beliefs like I'm not good enough, etc. All those beliefs that were planted in your childhood. Sometimes we don't even realize we are repeating patterns until we step back and look. Maybe you are overworking to prove your worth because you grew up feeling unseen. Or have you considered maybe you are emotionally unavailable because vulnerability wasn't safe in the home that you grew up? These patterns show up in subtle but powerful ways. At this point, I'm sure you are wondering why this happens. This happens because trauma is stored in the body. Trauma isn't just a memory. Trauma is an imprint on your nervous system. When you are triggered, your body reacts even before your mind has time to think. You yell, you shut down, you self-sabotage. This happens because your brain is trying to protect you in ways that it learned as a child. Trauma takes one through subconscious programming. Your subconscious mind is like a computer running scripts that have been written in your formative years. So if your script says love equals one-sided sacrifice, you will keep finding yourself in relationships that drain you until you rewrite your script. With generational trauma, sometimes it's not even about what was said or done. It's about the emotions that was inherited. If your father carried anxiety about money, you might also carry that anxiety even if your financial situation is different. So if your script says love equals one-sided sacrifice, you will keep finding yourself in relationships that drain you until you rewrite your script. And now on to how to break free. Breaking generational trauma is not about blaming your parents. It's about taking responsibility for your own healing. And here's how to start. The very first step is identifying the patterns. So ask yourself, what patterns in my life feel heavy, harmful, and unhealthy? Maybe it's how you cope with stress. Maybe it's how you set boundaries. Maybe it's how you handle anger. So the exercise for identifying the pattern is write down just one behavior you don't like in yourself, then trace it back. Who in your family did that too? Understanding the origin will make you understand that it is not just who you are. Challenge the beliefs you grew up with. Ask yourself, is it true? Does this belief serve me? For example, if you believe I have to do everything myself, ask yourself, why? What would happen if I asked for help? Another step for breaking generational trauma is learning new tools. Breaking patterns also means building new ones. If you grew up in a home where emotions weren't expressed, then learn to name and share your feeling. If you grew up in a home where conflicts were explosive, then practice calm communication. For example, instead of yelling when you are frustrated, try saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Can we talk about this later? The next step to breaking generational trauma is seek healing. Healing isn't a solo journey. You can't do it on your own. Therapy or even honest conversations with loved ones can help. And in a case therapy is not accessible, my YouTube channel and other online resources can help. Healing starts with an education. The next step to breaking generational trauma is practicing self-compassion. You won't break patterns and cycles overnight, and that's okay. The fact that you are even trying is proof of your strength. Learn to celebrate the small wins. Small wins like catching yourself before you react, like you always have. When you then begin this healing journey, you begin to show up for yourself better. When you begin to break these patterns, you are not just healing yourself, you are rewriting the story for the next generation. You are showing your kids, your nieces, your nephews, and even your inner child that there's a better way to live, a healthier way to live. So guys, today I challenge you. Look at your life and ask yourself, what's one pattern I can break? It doesn't have to be big. Start with something small. One step, one choice, one moment of awareness. You have the power to break that cycle and build something new. You can't change the past, but you can break the chain. Healing isn't just for yourself, it's a revolution for generations to come. Click subscribe and put on post notifications so you don't miss out on the next episode. See ya! Ciao!